Hey guys, welcome to episode 39 of KONSUI Fighter Live, Early Access Steam Launch Edition. Woo!
Yeah.
My name is Logan Jensen. I am in charge of everything that is marketing.
Just everything.
I'm in charge of everything with a little asterisk next to it. But everything that is marketing and PR and community engagement and all that stuff for Circean Studios working on KONSUI Fighter.
Yep. I'm Shane Helms. I'm the director of Circean Studios.
Oh, I'm Sean. I program things, make birds fly.
Yeah.
Fun stuff.
Sweet. Well, this is a pretty exciting stream.
Yeah.
This is a pretty exciting time.
Yeah.
Because today is our first day in early access on Steam.
Yep.
So this is pretty exciting.
Big milestone.
This is a big milestone. Our last big milestone was definitely releasing our demo here on Steam.
Yep.
During Steam Next Fest.
Yep.
Got a lot of really great feedback on that one. But welcome here. If you are new to KONSUI Fighter Live, this is our this is kind of our podcasty or vlog, if you will, of all the updates that we have on KONSUI Fighter. We've done builds with talking about just anything that is new to the game, new to the build. And also we've done fun streams like building Gundams and building Legos. So those.
I feel we're about due for one of those.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
I still have piles of Gundams in there.
Yes.
But so let's move on to our first big topic. Just what is the update with KONSUI Fighter?
Yeah.
Yep. So obviously we're in early access now, right? So why don't we talk about?
I don't have a soundboard if I
Yeah,
did.
I know. Why don't we talk about what's in the early access build, and then later in the episode we'll talk a little bit about what's coming next. So early access, it's currently available on Steam for $19.99. With that, you're going to get all of the key modes in the game. So arcade mode. And we'll showcase some of this here in a little bit. But arcade mode can play through a traditional stack of enemies, kind of old school arcade tower mode. You can pick your difficulty and round options and that kind of thing. We've got our story mode that has the first 2 chapters of the current in progress version of the story mode. We'll be adding some additional content there and refining things quite a bit during the early access phase. But that's available for you there. Versus mode, we've got our online multiplayer as well as our local and offline multiplayer options available there, complete with full rollback netcode and even cross-platform support. So you can play multiplayer with other folks that are playing the mobile edition of KONSUI Fighter, or maybe playing on Mac or Steam Deck or whatever their system of choice might be. And then we also have our training mode. There's two facets of training. There's guided tutorials, which will take you through some of the core mechanics of KONSUI Fighter, step you through a lot of the techniques that the system has to offer. And then there's a free training mode where you can kind of hop in, experiment, get a feel for the system, and play around. So all of that is currently available with more to come, certainly. And we're really excited. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, that's what we got right now.
Yeah.
Do we want to talk a little bit about... Well, I figure we should probably pivot to what's next a little later because we've got a separate set for that.
Sure.
So we talked about this being a pretty big milestone.
Yeah.
Right? So let's just have a little bit of fun, okay? And let's talk about kind of where we started. And what
the journey
and the journey that has gotten us here. So the main story of how Circean Studio was made. We go back 14 years ago.
Maybe
Maybe 15. 15 years ago.
Technically.
And the three of us met at Johnson County Community College, which is the community college here in Kansas City.
One of them.
And one of them. And and they have a video game department or video game program.
Yep.
We were in. I don't remember if we were. So I know. Okay, we were all in the Friday night, 6 p.m. class, and I think it was game marketing or games.
So the business of games.
Business of games. That's right. And
I have an infallible memory. It's both a blessing and a curse.
The three of us, all of the desks were in sets of 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it was Shane, me, and Sean.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
And I was like, who's this weird guy trying to talk to me?
And we just kind of started talking and doing gaming stuff. This was Friday night at 6 p.m.
Yeah,
which I laugh because it's like, what else does nerds have to do?
Well, here's the other thing that you guys maybe, I guess, didn't really think of. Like, I had only been living out here in Kansas for so many months.
Yeah.
I knew nobody.
Yep.
Like, I don't know if I had secured a job quite by that point. Like, my family had all just kind of moved out here, so I didn't know anybody.
Yeah.
You guys were, I think, the first people I really got to know out here. So,
well, and right before that, like, I got fired from a job and went to Japan. I was like, well, I guess I'll go to school for a bit.
Yeah.
So-
And I was in their culinary program.
Yeah.
And then I stopped because I was burnt out. Badooch. Hey, yo.
A little overcooked.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
And from there, I was like, I don't know what I want to do because I always wanted to cook.
Right.
And I mean, I was working for Marriott at the time, and I'm like, well, I don't want to do this anymore. And crap, I don't know what else. I like video games, so I joined the program. But we are all taking this Friday night class, and at 9, it's 3 hours long. At 9 p.m. on a Friday, we're just a bunch of nerds. Okay, don't have anything to do.
Yep.
And I'm like, hey, do y'all want to come over and play Mario Party? And so that's kind of how this whole friendship started with that, which was really fun. And so that was the start of it. Then Shane comes along.
Right.
We're meeting at a Starbucks that I worked at. So after I left Marriott, I was working at Starbucks while I was going to school. And Shane had this idea. And what was the idea, Shane?
For the game?
Or just to do a studio, I think.
So I have always had a goal of wanting to form a studio. I mean, I had that before I even moved out here. Back in, actually, probably unbeknownst to you guys, like Circean Studios started existing when I was out in Virginia for several years while I was going to college. Like the logo branding and all that, I had kind of sorted out, and I was starting to form the idea of the ethos of what I wanted the studio to be. Just watching the industry. It was an interesting time. That was back in probably like the 05 to 09 period. So you had the launch of the Wii and the Xbox 360 golden era, PS2, PS3, like seeing how the industry evolved, how independent development started getting off the ground, what was successful, what dumb business decisions were causing people to obviously not be
that they're
successful.
still doing.
Yes. And just a lot of things like that. I started to get an idea of what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Like formally, like forming a studio's been a long life goal. But anyway, so yeah, came out here. Now I remember it a little differently. I remember that the very first discussion about KONSUI Fighter, we were in the duplex.
Yeah, I thought it was there.
You guys were downstairs doing something on the TV, probably playing a game or watching something. And I was up in the loft, and I was like talking to you guys about it from up there. Like, I kind of have an idea for a game that I really want to do.
Mr. Krabs,
Yeah.
I have an idea.
And that's when I think I kind of gave you guys like the elevator pitch of like, it's a fighting game where the main character is in a coma and he's trying to remember what happened, and all the fighters in the game are like different slices of his personality.
Mm-hmm.
That's like the high level concept of this. I got some interesting ideas for where the story will go, how the gameplay will work, and blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think we maybe formally like met up at Starbucks to talk through it in a little more detail. But yeah, I mean, I feel like there was like no hesitation.
Not
Like
really.
you
Right.
guys were like all in on the idea.
Yeah.
I wanted to make games before that too. I was trying to work with a friend in high school,
Yeah.
and he was coming up with a lot of the story,
Mhm.
and I was trying to work on some of the programming side, but it was just the two of us,
Right.
and we could never get anybody else to join.
Just the
So-
two of us.
Yeah,
Don't get us copyright.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. it's
But
too
yeah,
good.
But
yeah, once this opportunity came along, I was like, yeah, sure. That's
Yep.
kind of what we're there for anyway.
Yeah.
I'd rather do it than just learn about how to do it.
right.
Yeah.
So
And
I-
we played fighting games.
right.
Like
Yeah.
you and I played
a lot.
Mortal
Yeah.
Kombat a lot.
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat, Marvel vs. Capcom, when that new release came
Yeah.
out, Street Fighter, like
Because
we played a
you
bunch.
skimmed over the part where like it went from playing over at your duplex to him living there for a
right,
while,
right,
me coming over all the time.
Right. Yeah, because it was
So-
about a year after we met.
Yeah.
A little less than a year. Because this conversation happened in the summer of 2010.
Mhm.
June or July specifically. I've got it noted somewhere because I've got the original documents where I drafted up like the initial concept. But anyway, yep, from there we went into the process of, all right, well, we're going to need to find a good resource for an artist. And we've told that story before. I'll keep it kind of brief,
Yeah.
but we had a few artists apply. Someone we knew referred Jas, and we took
Someone
some
I knew
applications.
referred another one.
And you know, we put out kind of a high level task to set them on getting a few concept pieces. We reviewed them, and we made our decision to work with Jas. Over the years, you know, when we realized we needed some support on the art front, we pulled in Michelle and Leah to help with that. We've also had various friends and family assist with other aspects. Like, I know we worked with Stormy for a bit for some of the female references, my sister for some of Kyoki's move references at the apartment after the duplex. Logan did some, I did some.
Ellen's helped with
Yeah.
copywriting.
Ellen
stuff.
has helped with a number of things like our training materials and some other editing and just general like feedback. So
Proofreading and whatnot.
so you know it's been a pretty team effort
Yeah.
all around. But anyway, so in the very early days, we started off with a pretty rough build where, you know, the game is built on our own engine. So we were just trying to get fundamentals working, like getting animations, getting our development,
Getting things to
pipeline
draw
working,
to screen and
content
characters
management.
moving.
I have memories of us like hand stitching together sprite
Yeah.
sheets
Yeah.
and then manually building the XMLs to like load in. But I assume you're getting ready to queue up some pictures here.
Do you want me to do that screenshot? Or do you want me... Okay.
Let's go to 2012,
Mhm.
right? So the first like event
No,
we did.
I did it wrong. There we go.
Oh,
Yeah, there we
nope. Even further back, the first.
Okay, so you do want me to do
Naka.
it.
Yeah.
Okay.
One more. Yep. So our very first like public event with the game was NakaCon here in Kansas City in 2012, and this was our booth setup at that time. I was telling the guys, like, I was trying to remember what the build even was for this, and I think it was literally you could hit go, and it would put you into the game, the main gameplay environment where you could control a Samu. A bunch of his frames were not colored. Like I think his stance was colored, but some of his attacks were not colored. They were just the cutout drawings that we had. And it was basic things like you could move around, you could jump, you could do basic punches and kicks, and the opponent could get hit. And it would take away some health from the meter. And like I think that was literally it. There was no AI. We didn't have multiple characters. we were using crappy old like stages that I had put together, I think at that point,
Well,
as a proof of concept.
we even built some things like in the lower right corner, the
Yeah.
box that this
and
the
we
phone was
we
on.
handmade like a lot of this. So
Yeah.
like the demo stands, we made these out of like plywood and 2x4s, and
Mhm.
we worked with a company and Jas put together some really awesome artwork for the versus panels.
Yeah.
This was our first form of that.
All the
And we got
posters
these
that we
vinyl.
had.
Yeah. This year we also had some pretty cool posters that we were attempting to sell of all the characters,
Mhm.
which I think we got some out to the
There's a
community,
few.
but like,
Yeah.
I mean, very early days. It was an interesting event, and
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like we got this was the event where Jas was the lead artist or the promoted artist
for
for
Naka.
featured artist
Yeah,
for
for
Naka.
Naka.
He drew the badge and all that.
Yep. So his artwork was the badge.
That's him and the demon horns, by the way.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think it's from some anime, but
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't remember what. And that was me when I was cool.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not cool anymore because I don't wear a vest.
Aw.
Like Shane does. But as you
should
can
work on
see, I still have the what? As you can see, I'm wearing a vest. I don't remember where I was going with that. But anyways,
Yep.
So also don't mind these very low resolution pictures. They
I mean,
are
It was a long
from
time ago.
right.
a while ago.
One other
But
thing to point
We
out.
don't. Do we even still have that banner?
Yeah, I thought we
That is
did. Yeah.
No,
the
that's-
banner.
That's not the banner.
No, because it only has 4 characters.
It only had 4 characters.
No. When
I'm
we go to the
pretty
next
sure.
one, we'll because the
Yeah, we have
the-
another one.
Oh wait, no, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
That was a smaller one. I
I thought we did.
think we might still have it, but yeah.
We don't have any more of those prints. I think we might have one of Key.
Oh no, we still have them. They're
Oh.
in my
I
garage.
thought we had
Oh,
a few.
okay.
Yeah, we have all of this stuff. We have not thrown out like anything
We should,
other than
like scan it
the
in,
demos,
just in
the
case
demo
we don't-
stands. But
But yeah, these were. I think these were even our phones. Like this was
yes,
mine.
yeah, it was
'Cause
our it
Shane
was our
and I
personal
both
phones.
had the
Droid
first
X's.
Droid X's. Which
Yeah.
those were dope, by the way.
Yes.
And those were the demo things. So
Yeah, I guess
Uh,
that's another thing to keep in mind. Like, think about what mobile and smartphones and smartphone gaming was.
well,
back in
and even
2012.
before that, for
Yeah.
those of you who don't know, because we're celebrating our early access for Steam, this title originally wasn't a. This title wasn't originally a Steam or PC
yeah,
game.
Yeah.
right?
The whole idea of this was to be a fully fledged mobile game that
Yeah.
wasn't
Right.
a port, that wasn't
well, and
built from the ground up, and it was
right.
It actually had a story. It wasn't just kind of like
It wasn't. Yeah,
Yeah,
microtransactions and all that.
the whole thing was that at the time, right? This was early days of smartphone gaming
Oh, yeah.
and app stores. All the games we saw in the market were just low effort, very minuscule things, and we're like, there's no reason you can't have a full-fledged title on this.
Yeah.
So we really wanted to like raise the bar a bit by showing like, look, we can have a detailed, like classic style tournament fighter with all the mechanics that you would expect from a typical setup and make it work well
Yeah.
on mobile, because mobile does not just need to be these, cheap little like time cruncher games or
Yeah.
just, that kind of thing. So that's how this really started. And obviously over the years, right, we've evolved the design a lot, but I think that does speak to the mobile edition
Yeah.
is still, I think, a testament to like how much work we put into making that whole experience work well. It is, again, I would say we're trying to elevate what can be done.
Yeah.
Now, other games have come along since then, but it's still the perception about mobile is
Yeah,
not a
It's
positive
kind of
one.
poisoned. Yeah.
I mean,
Um,
like for example, I mean here this is another kind of funny thing is, so we were just at Naka
Mhm.
Yeah.
this year, and I don't have any pictures of that because that's going to be a whole nother stream that we're going to do
Right.
at that time. And I'll talk about that later.
Mhm.
But we did a Q&A panel, And one of the things I brought up was who here doesn't like mobile games?
Yeah.
Right.
And over half the people raised their hand.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I brought up a story about that, which I'll bring up when we get to a different picture. But it kind of, that still tells you that, you know, at least in the U.S. area, like
It's pretty much globally, but yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
no, because I feel like mobile games are more.
They're huge in Asia.
Right.
But, yeah.
But I mean, so that's what I'm just trying to say is
sure.
that it's not like super big here yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The idea of, it's funny. I even read an article I think a week or two ago about people that were freaking out because they were somebody had set up some compatibility tools on iPhone, like on the recent iPhone models, and were running PC games on it. And their mind was like blown that like it could run those kind of games. And I'm like,
of course it can.
Yes.
Yeah.
There is no like the entire concept of the mobile market being what it is just because that is how the industry has managed it.
Yeah. They're like Skinner box, simple to get people
addicted. And you know, we're not here for that kind of experience. We're really trying to make like a notable game that people can enjoy.
Yeah.
Full experience. But anyway, big tangent. Let's get back to 2012. So demo was very basic.
One thing I was going to point out too is like you can see the monitor facing the crowd because we were going to show them like live editing.
We were, like
stuff.
we were coloring frames. We were working on code and testing out features there.
For almost every convention for multiple years, we had a bug that we had to fix during the con. It was always a hassle.
I mean, for many years.
I feel like the only con that didn't happen was the last two Nagas.
Maybe
we've gotten
a few
better.
More. But
the scale of the bugs have also gotten smaller. There was times where like it just straight up didn't work half the day.
But this was Naka 2012.
Yeah. Let's keep going.
Yeah,
we got a lot of years to get through. Right. So what is this, Logan?
So this was a convention that I don't believe is around anymore.
No.
Screw Attack is called Screw Attack Gaming Convention, or SGC.
Yep.
This was in Dallas, and I'm sorry that Sean, your head is being sliced off.
Yep, it happens.
But this was in 2013.
Yep.
And this was a little bit. So one is you can see the banner.
Yes, this was where we got the newer one.
We had that one for a long time.
We've had it for 11 years.
But this was like a little gaming convention. There were many devs there, and I think we were the only mobile dev there.
Oh, absolutely.
And so same thing. We were using our same personal phones.
Mm-hmm.
We had two stations.
Yep.
One you don't see on the bottom left there. You don't see the other part, but we actually had buttons. We had prints. We had two phones on each station, and that was another really good time.
One thing I think that was notable about this year, just a couple of things I'll note. One, we met a few pretty key gaming personalities there. Stephanie Sterling was there and stopped by that area. James Rolfe, the AVGN, was there, and I think this was around the time the AVGN game was launched.
I think I saw what's his name from
Adam Sessler.
Yes,
Adam Sessler was just
Sessler was there.
He was getting coffee one time.
Yeah, he was right in front of us.
Great.
We were almost tempted to be like, "Hey, we'll buy your coffee," but it's like then we're just like, "What a bunch of losers!" Like, of course they're going to be.
Oh my God, Adam! I remember you from X.
And we got to meet the Screw Attack crew, which back in the day, Game Trailer, Screw Attack, I watched them pretty often, so it was nice to get to meet them and be part of their event. Another notable thing, we met David Jaganaw, I hope I'm pronouncing his last name correctly, who interviewed us. It was our first formal interview, and he published a big article on the game and the coalition. He is now with IGN. He's moved to a couple different outlets, but he's with IGN now. And that was just really cool to get a positive interview from the community out there. And then from a game perspective, I was telling the guys like a lot of change happened from 2012 to 2013. I know we had more of the gameplay, granted in its early form, but more of it was there. We had more characters. We had Heitan in this build, and one of the things that I was under the gun for at the con trying to get working was projectile attacks for the very first time. Getting her birds working.
Yeah.
And granted, it wasn't a flock at this stage. At this stage, it was like you're gonna have an attack, a bird will swoop in off screen and fly off. Think of Jill in is it MVC where she has like the bird swoop in from the top of the stage. And yeah, I mean, we were down to the wire. We got a little testy because we were like really antsy about having that feature ready and getting the build stable, but we got it working. But yeah, I mean, it was all around a really good event.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
no, it was, and then I threw this in there just for me. So, so on the bottom right. Okay. Well,
what do you do? I can't see what's on screen.
Yeah.
Is that like a Connect thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, one is, yes, I did have blonde hair. I used to change my hair seasonally.
Right.
But yes,
Just Dance.
Basil just said Dance Central. So
Dance,
that is correct.
Yeah.
So I used to work. So after I left Starbucks, I worked for Microsoft when they had stores. Yes, for those of you who don't know, yes, Microsoft did have stores
for quite a while.
I know. I
miss them. Honestly,
I worked there from 2012 to 2020, so 8 years.
Yep.
And so one of the things that we did in the store was we had a station outside that was basically showcasing Xbox 360 at the time and doing Xbox Connect with Just Dance. Now, the day that we opened, first day we opened, I played Dance Central for 8 hours.
Jeez.
For 8 hours straight with just like your typical 15 minutes.
See, this is another reason you really need to try Beat Saber. Like,
well, I mean,
it can be a good workout.
Well, it wasn't the fact that it was a workout.
Well, no, he was getting paid
but it
for
just,
it.
but still, just like I bet because you still haven't tried that yet, have you?
And
probably
not right to store all their Zunes.
Yeah.
So
Hey,
would
what's wrong with the Zune?
The Zune was cool.
I think the Zune was. It got a bad.
I have played Beat Saber, Basil. You were in the room.
I know. I'm just giving crap.
But anyway, but they had this at the gaming convention, and I was just like, this is the one place where I could show this off.
Yeah.
I could show off my skills
of
memorizing the dance moves in Dance Central. So, so it was, so that was fun.
Yep.
All right. So that was SGC 2013.
Yeah.
Then this is a
little out of order.
But the both of these were in 2018.
Yep.
So this was Indie PopCon, which is in Indianapolis.
Yep.
And we went here. So this was our first, I guess, pop culture convention.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah.
And there were there was some bigger gaming person here that was, but I'm trying to remember.
Was this 3D Realms? Because I don't see.
No, that was I'm sorry, that was PAX.
PAX. Okay.
It wasn't Markiplier, but it was another like streamer at the time, wasn't it? That was there because I remember them to our left. There was like a stage where they came out and did a thing, and then they did meet and greet.
I know that the Star Trek guy.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Will Wheaton was there.
Wheaton.
So that was what I was going to say is we had a chance to like briefly see Will Wheaton because he cruised around the area. I know his time was limited, but it was kind of cool. He went around the indie gaming area and got to meet the different teams, and there were other Trek folks there.
Yeah,
but he was actually out on the floor, which is kind of cool.
They had a lot of like meet and greet type things. You get signed stuff, but.
Yeah. It was nice too because this was another one that was drivable for us being in Indianapolis. I think this was this where we premiered the Dev Duel, or was that at PAX?
No, because PAX was
Okay,
first.
but we did our dev duel here, and I guess the other notable thing here is they did have sort of
I think this is actually where we showcased it on PC first, because I don't. It's. I didn't get the picture, but just on the bottom left where you guys are doing the dev duel, there is a surface that has it, and I don't think we had it at PAX.
Huh.
Yeah, I think you're right. I want to say this was around the very first time that we finally got the game running on a different platform than Android. We bit the bullet to get it working on PC.
Yeah, and it was very basic. Like the controller worked. And
but it was that was a pretty cool experience. I will say, like, because like I had to do a good amount of fundamental work to get the engine running on there, and it was kind of one of those. It's like, okay, if the engine runs properly, in theory, the game should just work. And I remember the very first time I fired it up, and there came the menu, and it plugged along, and it was like, dude, this is pretty cool, and
honestly,
and like I think well architected that we were able to abstract that out and get it working pretty quickly.
The majority of that was probably just like the build system.
Yeah, it was
not rely on Android.
It was a few months of work, like 2 or 3 months, but it was well worth it.
This was also the first convention where we got an award.
Exactly. I was going to say
I had a picture, but it was really low.
It's on our Steam page. It's on our Steam page. So we received Best Art Design at the show, and that was pretty cool. So
we also all voted by people from the convention.
Yeah.
So it was really cool that we were able to.
We also have our shirts, and we had buttons for that.
Yeah,
I think we had buttons for before this too. But
But yeah, this was fun.
Yeah.
So this was after PAX. So the next one that we'll showcase is going to be. This was our first big deal. Like, oh my God, we're at PAX.
Yep. PAX East.
PAX East in Boston.
Yeah, there's 3D Realms.
Yep. 3D Realms was just next to us.
That was fun.
And this was our booth. So this kind of goes back to what I was saying before. When we were we're talking about mobile games, was when people walking by the booth, they're like, "Oh, cool, a fighting game," and then they're like, "Oh, it's a mobile game," and I was like, "No, like
give it a shot."
Yeah, I was like, "Stop, give us just give it a shot."
Yeah,
and that was where we were able to kind of turn a lot of people around. Of like, okay, so I can have this kind of experience.
Just on a mobile game, yeah.
That was a really big thing. Like, because I remember we were really unsure what the reception was going to be. Because you got to remember all the conventions we did prior to that. I guess SGC a little bit, but they weren't as major gaming focused.
Yeah.
I mean, SGC was, but it was a smaller convention, and we were like down in the basement to a side somewhere. So we only got so much traffic. But like that was kind of our moment of like, okay, fingers crossed, we're going to see what people really think of this. And like overall, the sentiment was pretty positive. We also got some really good feedback. I remember, I think this is where we had a couple people encourage us to look into adding some more prominent variation between light and strong attacks, and brought up kind of the grapple system and some options we could explore there and some other things. So we got just, really good feedback from the community there. A lot of evolution of the game based on that, that followed from this. So, and I think we did get more press coverage here. It wasn't as much just because PAX East, if you're a 10x10 booth as an indie, you're one drop in a sea of games and booths. But we did get some more groups that interviewed us and covered the game.
It felt like a lot of these bigger conventions, you only get coverage if you're just weird. Like there was some like tongue simulator game that had like a line, or like one music game that had a line, and like everything else that was semi-normal had nobody there.
Well, it's just there's a lot to see. I think it's just a game of numbers. There's a lot to see.
Yeah, so I mean, part of it was our location.
Yeah.
Another thing for those of you,
our booth was full.
I was going to say though, our booth was almost consistently full. So like, I don't know. I think for the way I look at it is like, sure, maybe there wasn't as much
Press coverage.
major press coverage for a small indie there, but we got more value out of like getting the reception and the feedback to make the game better. So to me, I think it was, more worthwhile to us in that respect.
Yep.
And then this is where we debuted the dev duels.
Yeah. So I was gonna say, this point, I know from the picture on the bottom left, that's that snapshot of me and Shinrao from the voice cast announcement. So this also must have been around the time that we selected the voice cast and at least started the process of getting the character voices. I don't know that. I highly doubt we had them all incorporated to the game by this time.
In the game, I don't think so, but I know we did have. Yeah, we were showcasing everybody because I remembered, Madeline was there.
She met us. Yes, that was cool. Wasn't somebody we got? I thought we had somebody. Maybe we just had somebody else that knew of the game that came by, but. Yeah, that was cool to get to meet Madeline.
But I mean, there was a lot of people a lot of the voice actors were promoting us being there. So Elsie, Marissa. So, okay. So this was East. So this was a big deal because this was our first big actual gaming convention.
Yep.
Yeah. I didn't show any more. We did do NACA in 2013, 14, and 15.
I know we had a year.
We did stop for we did a few years where we stopped. Yeah. We went as attendees.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that is so this was East.
Yep.
Then we went from east to south. Now, I picked this one because I didn't want to do a bunch of souths.
Yeah.
But we did. We went to PAX South starting in 2019.
Yes.
And this one is 2020. But this was a big milestone for us because this was where we got. We were selected for PAX Rising.
We were a winner, quote unquote, as they called it, of the PAX Rising selection.
Which, it was cool and all, but they barely promoted it. At this point, they were kind of giving up on parts of PAX.
Yeah, but I mean, it was still a really good experience. I mean, we definitely got a lot of attention due to being
the booth was cheaper.
Featured.
Yeah.
Again, we got some more press coverage at the event. And we put our arcade build. So now by this point, we had the PC version working well, and we added more controller support, and we got the arcade sticks, the custom sticks we made put together and sort of featured that front and center in addition to the mobile editions along the other outer edge. And there were some moments, like Logan's got some pictures here, where we would get head-to-head people. This actually, well, maybe we had it at PopCon, but this might have been one of the first times that people could play head-to-head in a local match.
Oh, sure, yeah.
On the same system.
Because we had the colored system.
Yeah, and I guess one of the things we along with this, I think this was getting into the territory where we were starting to really bite the bullet on getting some of the local or getting some of the Wi-Fi and network multiplayer working. Yeah. I want to say this South was actually where we were really chewing on some of the heavy issues.
Yes.
Getting just the fundamentals of the protocol working.
Weird edge cases.
We got it working for the show, but I remember there was more fundamental work we did when we got back and a lot of troubleshooting.
One of these, I was in the corner of a room half the con.
Yeah.
Trying to fix it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, there were times where I was away from the booth for a day or two or staying up all night, continuing to get aspects of the build ironed out. But, I mean, at the end of the day, we had solid stuff at the show for people to try, and we got those features in. So, there's a lot you guys, I think, don't see that goes behind the scenes of of game development that's
Oh, yeah.
pretty interesting. But
So one thing that I'm going to go back to this on real quick.
yeah.
Sure.
So, what was funny about this? Okay, was that for those of you who have never been to like PAX or any gaming convention,
Big gaming.
typically the booths are here's a table
Yep.
and 2 chairs.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that was that's what most indies did.
Yeah.
Is they would
Maybe
have like
a poster.
A single laptop,
like a laptop,
running
Yeah.
the
a
game or
demo.
2 or and with a monitor maybe. And so I designed our booth to be like this L shape, and we
Yep.
had all these phone fixtures and all that.
We even like laid it out in like a room we had.
Yeah.
There was
Yeah,
a
we
room,
mocked
there
it
was an
up.
empty room in our office building that we did a mock so that we could see what it looked like.
Yep.
And the one thing that I was like super proud of was that there were other indies that were like, your booth looks amazing, and they were
Oh, yeah.
taking pictures. 'Cause
Yeah,
they
yeah.
were like, oh my god, I want to like figure out how you guys did
Yeah.
this,
And it
all that.
worked really well for the amount of traffic we got.
Yeah, yeah.
Like it worked really well.
We were trying to focus on like, not overcrowding it and giving people enough room to be able to get in there and try stuff.
Yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
that was the one thing
For us to
that,
walk around.
That PAX is very anal about is like
Yeah.
Not bleeding out of your space, and
They will force
yeah.
people to get moving,
Yeah.
which I kind of miss from all the other cons I've been to
Yeah.
now. Like everybody needs somebody to keep things moving.
all right.
I will also say related to that, like when you go back to South, like the booth that we had for that got a lot of
yeah.
attention too.
We were the only folks that had a 3-dimensional.
Yeah.
Cricket.
with
Yeah,
lights.
Cricket
yeah,
was our
Cricket
person.
was there.
Yeah.
I almost
Yep.
I should have I had his picture, but I
Yeah.
was only doing
Ah.
4. But yes, Cricket was like he was, what are they called? The
Enforcer.
Enforcers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He was so dope.
Yeah.
yeah.
He was a nice
I
kid.
miss him.
Yeah, no, like the design of our Rising thing definitely was killer.
Yeah.
Like,
You can see in some of the pictures, so like the top right and the bottom right,
Mhm.
they were just like typically what PAX gives you is they give you the
just the backdrop.
the backdrop,
Yeah.
and that's it.
And you have this like semicircle because half the other side is another indie.
Yeah,
And so we came up with this design. We made this pop out Iyumu with
backlit.
with backlights and all that. So it definitely stood out. And huge kudos to Basil,
Yeah,
Yeah.
my fiance, for taking the time to actually like Dremel out.
every
Oh,
little
yeah.
facet of that
pieces.
out. Yeah, and we have the so I still have a Yumu.
Yeah. We
He's
actually
in storage.
just mounted the sign.
Yeah, I was going to say the logo sign is now mounted in our studio. We've got some new backlights on it. It's pretty dope. So, the one thing I really wish, so the actual backdrop with the characters,
Yeah.
we really wanted to get that home because that was custom made by the convention and
Yep.
it was
They printed it.
printed on like PVC sheets. It
Yeah.
was really nice. There was no way we could have gotten it home
Without like cutting it or
or
spending a lot of money. 'Cause
yeah,
we're
and
shipping all
so
this.
we
through.
had to leave it there. And
Airline.
for all I know,
Yeah.
there's somebody out there that attended South that
Yeah.
year that snagged it.
Just took it home.
Yeah, like
be
it
awesome.
might be out there in the wild somewhere. I don't know, but I really wish we could have gotten that back. But you know, it was great for the con, and yeah, like definitely got
I
a lot of
remember
people interested.
We were even like seriously looking into like how much would it be to like ship this
Oh, yeah.
back? And
Yeah,
was
no,
it gonna
I-
be like freight of like $400 or something crazy.
Yeah, I looked into it.
It's like,
but
yeah, we've already spent so much on this.
yeah.
So that was South. I
Mhm.
think the next one is okay. So this is here. Before we do that,
Sure.
This was this was another convention that was new to us
Last year.
last year. This was Planet Anime,
Yep.
and this was also kind of a different design layout that we did for the booth, but it ended
Yeah.
up working out really well.
Yeah.
Because this is where we showcased it working on Steam Deck. We had this was where we had a new all new fixtures.
Mhm.
So new monitors, new PCs to run it all. This was a fun time. We're going to be going we're
Again
gonna be
this
going
fall.
in this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I do want to go back to this one.
Yeah, this
So,
was
Shane. Do you want to
Yeah.
explain what this is?
Yeah, this I wish honestly the funny thing is like we have older views than this.
Yeah.
I wish I had taken some time to dig this up, but this was obviously like the UI went through a couple iterations. So this was actually kind of somewhere in between like the last major version and the original version of the
Yeah.
UI. We had a short period of time, and I think this was around 2013, 2014, where we had tried like a really textured and brushstroked approach and more
Yeah.
stylized and like it was interesting to try. I, for various reasons, did not want to stick with this design, but it's kind of interesting to see how the UI has evolved from then until what we have now
Yeah.
in the build. This is the mobile version. Obviously, we have our overlays for the corners where the buttons are on Steam,
Yeah.
but yeah, you know, it's been also through many, many iterations of design and
Oh.
feedback and refinement.
Yeah.
So,
Some other little bits I noticed. Like, go back. Okay, so yeah, the axe was still there. I forget if that was still animated.
oh yeah,
We don't have any bars in the middle, so there was
Yeah,
no like burst or other meters.
I don't even know if I don't think
know
we
we had a
had,
burst,
I don't
yeah.
think we had the burst mechanic
Yep.
or supers at this time. Were probably not in. I mean, at that point, we probably just had like special moves and basic
Punch kick.
basic things. So,
But yeah,
yep. It has definitely been a journey.
yeah.
Yep. So just kind of crazy. So I wanted to include this just because again this is a big milestone for us. So again,
Yeah.
I kind of wanted to showcase
Memories.
memories and going back through the member berries and all that.
Yep.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
And yeah, I guess just generally, like we had a lot of fun at Naka. It was a good
Oh,
show
yeah.
this year.
Yeah. We'll get into Naka in a more dedicated stream. I think we might actually have our next stream be more focused on this year's Naka.
Sure.
We have I guess we could talk about it a little bit.
Yeah,
We
so
have
we have another convention next weekend.
Mhm.
right.
So really the next stream will probably be focusing on both.
Sure.
But we have a convention here in KC called Midwest Fest, and we have a tournament there as well, and then we'll have a booth.
It should be interesting. It's a different one.
Yeah, this is
different
this is a
location and
convention
everything.
that we've never been to. One
Yeah.
of the people who are running it reached out to us. They were at Naka last year when they were talking about it, and then they reached out to us in
Social.
on social
Yeah.
to get that started. So, and that was when I joined, when we okayed that we're going to go to that. That's when I was like, we should try a tournament.
Sure.
Right.
And so I was talking with them, and they're like, "Sure, let's do it." And we're like on one of their main stages doing it. And then I was like,
No pressure.
"Okay, right." I was like, oh, "Crap, okay." So we have Naka coming up. Let's do a tournament there for me to kind of test that. So we did that.
Yeah.
I recorded that tournament, so we will do another stream later that will go over.
We'll watch the replay and have some commentary about it. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was a good show.
Yeah.
But so this so again, the whole reason why we're here is because of early access.
Yep.
So for those of you who have played the demo or played the demo during Steam Next Fest, again, thank you for trying it out, joining our Discord. Huge shout out to the
Digital Basement.
Digital
Group?
Basement.
Yes.
For they found the game. Their feedback has just been
Yeah.
Very helpful.
Really
incredibly helpful.
Yeah.
And so kudos to them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love how they covered it too.
Mr.
Very positive.
MKL is
Yeah.
Oh, hey.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Hey guys.
Yeah.
And so because they found a lot of things that
Yeah, had some good discussions on this.
Yeah,
We
yep.
implemented a lot of their feedback. So.
Yeah, it gave us some things to try and adjust. We kind of had some experimental builds we did to have them try some stuff out and let us know. And
well, and even like you mentioned before, it was nice to like have one of them test multiplayer internationally.
Yeah,
like,
I
we had
mean,
a chance to do that.
yeah, it was funny when you guys were streaming, and it's like, oh yeah, we're gonna have I think it was Andrea over in Germany play with Mr. MKL over in Canada, and just like, okay, we're over here like, hopefully everything's gonna work okay. And like even since then, like we identified a couple pain points and ironed out a lot with the netcode. So yeah, exactly. Hope nothing breaks. Yeah, I mean, you never know, right? So the fact that like that was a good moment for us too to know that like, okay, fundamentally some of the concerns we had about aspects of the net mode and just getting connectivity to work over those kind of situations. Yeah, that was good to see. But yeah, it's been really good. And I guess on that note, that is really why. Let's talk about why early access. Why are we doing early access? And that is because we think the game is in a state where we're ready to give it to the community, and we want to continue the final leg of our development alongside the community, really get everybody's feedback, and also get a chance to put some of those new features and other things out there for people to try out, see what you think. Help us make sure everything is in tip-top shape. So once we get closer to release, we've got the best game possible that we can put out there for everybody. So
besides a few little bits that we know we need to clean up, and a lot of it's in that cleanup polish phase now.
Yeah.
So I guess what are you want to talk about some things that have been changed since Steam Next Fest to early access?
Between then and now. So obviously in Next Fest we had 4 of our characters available in the demo for that event. We actually kind of kept them around a little bit longer than we expected, just because folks were kind of trying it out and giving us feedback. So we wanted to kind of do that. But at this point, now that we are in early access, the demo build has been scaled back to just 2 of the characters available. But all the modes are there to try out in various forms. Other than that, like mechanically, there have been a number of adjustments. So I mentioned the network mode. Let's talk about that. Fundamentally, we identified some issues with our rollback implementation that were causing a few inconsistencies. And we spent some time kind of working through identifying and ironing those out. And we believe as of now, we've quashed like all of the known major issues that were causing weird glitchiness during online play. Now, it's still possible if you have high latency, you could see some weird snaps, but it should be rare. It should be legitimate network-related issues that are prolonged. The issues that were happening before were not related to anything that should be causing glitchy behavior. So those have been squared away. And we also have some good test beds for vetting that kind of stuff in the future. Mechanically, there's been some pretty fundamental rework to normals, to chaining. We've ironed out some bugs that were allowing like inputs to still get processed during hit pause that should not have been happening. That was affecting the consistency and validity of all the frame data in like normal play.
There's a couple like infinite combos.
The teams brought a lot of like infinites or kind of just BS things to our attention that we wanted to tamp down. So a lot of those have been addressed through various frame metadata manipulation. We've also added a couple mechanics related to having increased gravity and pushback on successive combos or hits, some countermeasures to repeated juggles of the same move. We also refined the blocking mechanics. I think that's one of the big things that helped a lot with more back and forth play. So blocking duration was greatly reduced, snap blocking even more so to help emphasize that mechanic. And it just helps you be able to kind of block and counter a lot better. We also got rid of proximity blocking completely. I was back and forth on it, seeing how it affected the gameplay. It kind of caused you to get pinned down a lot more in place if the opponent's doing anything of threat near you. And if you're going to block to avoid it, you're just spending a lot of time standing there blocking, which is not what we want. We want more actionability from the players. So we have functionally removed that from the build. There's a little cleanup I want to do to how we're accomplishing that, but functionally it will remain the same. And that feels much better now. Again, there's better back and forth capability, and you can just do more. So yeah, there's just been a lot of things that have been adjusted to help dial in the gameplay experience. I think it feels a lot more consistent and intentional, properly paced. There's still more to do for sure.
Oh yeah.
There's some fundamental theoretical balancing adjustments I want to do with overall move durations and damage balance and things like that. But that's what this period is for.
Yeah.
We could be doing that till the end of time if so. I think we're at a point where we're ready to put it out there, and we'll continue to dial that in with the community as we go. So.
Plus, other bits we're working on. Like, I'm gonna soon get back to doing a better job of like encrypting traffic between clients.
Yeah.
To reduce like cheating and stuff.
For net play.
Yeah.
Yep.
Little things like that.
Yeah, you're getting into the next topic.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. So before we get into kind of what's next and all that, I thought it would be fun, since we're live in early access, that we actually, like hop in
and play a little bit of the game.
Play a little bit. So
this is the Dark Void.
There we go.
There it is.
So,
right.
why don't
why don't I hop into an arcade stack?
Sure.
And if we got any questions from the community or any conversation, we'll go with that. I'm going to go hard here.
Shane's going hard.
Yeah. I'll go with the Sonic.
And yeah, if anybody in the chat, wants to join in, just let us know, and I'll hop on make sure that he hops on some multiplayer.
Yeah.
And if not, I'll fight him.
Got Kyoki first up here.
Mr. MKL is actually sitting in the lobby.
Oh, nice. Well, I should pivot over. I'm going to get stomped, though, probably. Here, let me run this match, and then we'll pivot over.
But yeah, I mean, just like I guess I can talk about the tournament really quick. So
yeah.
The tournament, it was a single elimination. First place got a copy, or first, second, and third place all got copies of the game. They all got
How did they get those copies?
He was very proud of those.
Steam.
They turned out really dope.
I was just about to say that too.
Oh my god!
But so Shane has a CNC machine.
Well, not yet.
Okay.
It's a laser cut.
Okay, it's a laser cut.
I am looking at getting.
I don't know
these
CNC. Terms. I'm not.
Yeah.
But he has a laser cutter, and his idea was, let's make basically kind of like little trophy cards, and we'll laser in like the game code, the event that we were at, which was Naka, and the place that they got.
Yeah.
So they turned out really cool. We found some metal cards that were colored, and and then on the back of the cards, it was the KONSUI Fighter logo, and then each of us had our signature with a little message. So
no, it was a real barcode, I guess.
Yeah, it was a real barcode.
Kind of useless unless you want a barcode. If you had a digital scanner,
it's for time, like old time's sake. It's a memoir.
So each first, second, and third place got their commemorative cards with that. Second place got a $30 Steam gift card, and then first place got a Mayflash F500.
One of our custom.
Yeah, one of our custom fight sticks that we use for the booths. We made new ones for that. So we are going to.
I'm hopping online, but I will say it is hard to hold a conversation in place, so I hold no holds barred to getting stomped here. But I will give it a shot.
We are connecting.
Yep. Hopefully we're connected. Actually, now that I think of it,
have we tested this in a bit?
Oh yeah, there we go. Oh, hey, I'm on the CS Social account. Oh, man. All right, I tell you what, I'm going to go really risky, and I'm just going to pick a random
There you go.
character. This could be really bad.
If anything breaks, it's my fault.
But it'll be interesting.
Yep.
We'll let it. We'll go interesting here. I was wondering if that was going to happen.
Of course.
Oh God, I got to remember all of Tommy's inputs.
Tommy versus Tommy.
But anyway, the tournament. I didn't mean to derail the tournament combo.
I will say I feel bad too because like I was trying to record the audience for the tournament, but the camera failed right at the beginning. But we did capture the gameplay, and Logan has voiceover that he tried to do during it.
Yep.
So
Yeah, so
that'll be nice once we edit that.
Yeah, once we'll like we said, we'll do another stream where we actually have the gameplay and all that. But yeah, I mean, we got
teasing back and forth.
right two of Tommy's just
Lots of fire and chains.
Yep. Of course, it's on top of.
It is interesting. I don't think
top
we've
of a
run a lot of like Itami v Itami
No,
fights.
not really.
That was the other thing, was that nobody in the tournament had
Come
ever
on.
picked.
Ah, there it is.
Oh,
swing back, cross
no.
up. Nice.
Way to represent us.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, I don't like. It's been a minute since I've like spent some time with Tommy.
Yeah. We kind of have like our default characters we tend to pick when we're testing.
I do. Yeah, I do use this Samu a lot just for play testing.
Yep.
So, let's see, ES version.
Ooh.
Nice.
Oh, yep. Oh, nice.
Oh.
Wait. All right. Good.
Good.
Good block. I mean, burst. Oh no! So many grapples.
Gonna grapple me. Now I'm
God.
gonna grapple you.
Yeah, we're both trying to keep the same distance,
Yeah,
but like
yeah.
we got the same range for.
Yep.
Nope.
Yep.
Oh God. Yep.
Nope.
Saw driver right in the legs. Nice.
Well,
Good match.
yep.
Disappointed in you.
Game. Tommy versus Shiny Tommy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. All right, let's see. So actually, I have to ask then,
Mhm.
like how was that on your end?
Yeah.
As far as like any,
I saw the network go yellow a couple times, but never went below that.
yeah.
So
At least in gameplay, like I didn't notice anything
Yeah.
obviously choppy, but
yeah, the little indicator in the corner is just a rough metric. We're still kind of tweaking those values here and there.
Yep.
But yeah, it's a general idea of like if we get
all right, let me go.
so much latency or things that
go
we can detect,
scientist.
we'll try to give you a warning. And the game will potentially like pause if it gets too bad.
Yeah,
It felt really good. No rollback frames.
Oh, good.
And no hitching.
sweet,
Nice.
awesome. Hopefully
Yeah,
stays
yeah,
that way.
hopefully.
We'll see. Did quite a bit of ironing out. So.
Yeah. Yeah, he was literally doing a bunch of work to compare that like all the state we're capturing is expected.
Yes,
Correct.
I don't remember that Counter-Strike map. It's such a good map. Oh man, boot to the face. You're gonna even lose to the person that you voice shared.
Yep.
Oh, maybe not. Oh no!
This is a much
And
closer
there
match.
we go.
I need to like adjust.
Uh-huh.
I'm also, just for the record, I'm having to like look over here to play this.
Excuses. You're not even playing off the stream.
Right, you
You're
could-
playing on TV.
Well, I moved to the TV just to make sure I'm not getting any like latency.
Yeah,
But
luckily-
what is it? So Basil did say one thing. So
Yeah.
that she also really, she
oh.
also really enjoyed the good sportsmanship during the tournament.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone was judging and shaking hands.
Yeah, we had a really good group. Like everybody Oh,
What was the total? Was it like 16?
It was
Sure.
originally 18
Yeah.
signed up.
I
Three
keep going
three
in
were
for
no
the-
shows.
Yeah.
Um,
And a lot of those people kept coming back to the booth,
right.
so that was
We
great.
had several people that just continued to stay.
Right.
And yeah, I mean, it was really the tournament was great because nobody played the game except for that weekend.
Yeah.
And I mean, there was one person who actually who bought the game on Android several years ago when we were at Naka, and he got third. I do feel bad because how the bracket was set up, he had the most fights.
Oh,
Yeah, he got some extra qualifying rounds in there, but we made it work.
This was the first time I was
Ooh,
ever
nice.
using Start GG, so I
Yeah.
Yeah.
We made it
Good
work.
practice,
And
yeah.
I mean, if anything, I feel like he almost should get a special
Oh.
up, no.
Oh.
Just barely.
Yep.
Actually,
That was funny because you were like, no.
Yep. Well, I was worried that it was going to be just out of range
Uh-huh.
through the full duration, but nice. All right, Logan.
Let me-
Logan's going to try his
Yeah,
hand.
let me go ahead and give that a shot.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, no, the tournament was great. Like, I mean, it is also like, you know, our first time doing that. It's like you never know what the dominant like play styles are going to be.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
you know, because we have an interesting community. There's not a lot of folks necessarily at this con that are like deep FGC. You know, some folks are, but like, so it was really interesting just to kind of see like the diversity in the group that we had and in the different styles and also the characters. It was interesting to me that with the full roster available, it was roughly the same like 3 or so characters that
Yeah.
a lot of people were using.
Yeah.
Feels
It's like
there's
Itami,
definitely
Shinra,
favorites.
Samu, and Kyoki, I think, were the main ones.
Huh.
Like, I don't. There might have been 1 or 2 people that used Hitan.
No Yasu?
No,
No,
Wow.
Yasu.
nobody
She's
used
usually
Yatsu.
so popular, yeah.
Yeah. The thing is, though, we tamped her down a bit. And
Sure.
I think maybe a little too much. We will
Sure.
revisit her a bit to see, but
No.
Oh.
but yeah, there were some pretty
Use the
clear
birds.
dominant.
Nice.
There were some pretty clear like dominant strategies that evolved in that, but it was kind of cool because like some of them got shut down near the end of the tournament.
Yeah.
Like some of the kind of cheesy ones, it was like, yeah, that's not going to work once you get up to this point. So that was pretty cool to see. Oh,
Jeez.
Overall, I am pretty happy with how the birds have
oh yeah,
turned out.
yep, yeah. That was a lot of work too to get that full system working. Oop, oop,
A lot of
oop.
little tweaks to get them to like group and follow paths and stuff. Yeah.
Oop. Oh.
There's some. I still think there's some fun.
Working
like,
it. Oh.
Nice.
Oh. Ah.
Damn.
Nice.
I still think there's some interesting mechanics you could potentially
nice.
pull with the birds because they mostly go at a certain angle, but you can tweak it depending on where you are in the jump arc.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a way to tell which player is which mid-match?
Oh yeah, because we don't have their name.
currently. Yeah,
Maybe
I
that's
thought
what
about.
we could put.
Yeah,
Oh,
during
down
net
here?
play, we could probably put it in
On
the
the
lower
PC version,
corners.
yeah.
Yeah,
On phone, we could probably keep it at the top.
maybe.
But
Or for consistency, maybe. But
Yeah.
yeah. I'll have to play around with that. No, I had the thought of including the player
Yeah.
names up there, but that wasn't something I wired up at the time.
yeah,
But
we do have it at this point.
yeah, talking a little bit about what's coming soon. Like
Yeah.
we're using that in more places now, so the post-match view will have that.
Yeah. There's
Come
a
on,
couple-
Logan.
there's
Come
a-
on, Logan.
The post match.
Oh,
Damn it.
Yeah. The whole post match flow. I know that's one of the first things we're gonna update.
Yeah.
We didn't quite get it for early access.
Ooh.
Damn it.
Yep,
Oh.
yep. You got a little greedy there.
Panic.
Might be easier for tournament commentary.
Oh
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Yep. I was when editing the tournament video, I was almost thinking about putting the player names overlaid on each match.
Yeah.
It's just a bit of work to do that for what we had like 18 or 19 matches for the tournament.
Oh, number
Well,
of matches.
total
Yeah,
matches. It ended up being about 18 or 19. So we'll see. I might end up editing that in, but yeah, it's a good point. Yeah, I mean, I guess we can comment a little bit on what's coming soon. So yeah, there's a lot of like network play quality of life stuff that we're working on right now. So like the post-match screen we've talked about a bit. We've shared a bit of an early look at it in the Discord. We've got it working in-house in the sense that after a match, it'll keep wins over successive matches. You have the option to quit the match and exit your session with the other player. You can rematch with the same settings, or you can you can go back to the.
This is why people like Yas.
Shit. You can go back to the main menu.
One-handed, please.
You're doing Kentis, so you really got to pace your timing well.
She used to be so fast; she could just stun lock you really bad.
Yep. Oh man.
The AI was brutal back then too.
Yeah, or you can go back to the main menu and change characters and stage selections and all that. And yeah, wins will persist until somebody decides to leave the session. So you can just keep rematching, you can change stuff. It'll keep track of your overall wins of matches. We're probably going to tweak that a little bit. There's a little trophy system we'll have where trophies get collected as you accrue wins, and there's a little post-match dialogue bit. So yeah, that is close to being ready, but we've got a couple more pieces of it that need to be finished up.
There we go. Boosh, skadoosh.
Just missed with the chest slam. And then, yeah, there's some other things like the player names during the match that we can look at adding. Also, in-game friends list and invites, that will be a thing. That will also...
Wait, what?
You got... I think you just got hit after launching the first projectile there.
No.
Nice. Countered the super.
There's a very small window for that.
Yeah. Well, a burst will definitely work. Other than the invulnerable frames on your super, like the burst will be a hard interrupt to that.
But it's before she like flies on the screen.
Let me just do this. I'm trying to do this thing.
Get in there. You gotta do
there we go.
Yeah.
Oh,
damn.
Nope. So yeah, with the in-game friends list, that's how you'll manage your cross-platform friends. So if you have somebody that just has the game on mobile or Steam, you can add them directly outside of like your Steam friends or whatever, so that you can play directly with them and send them invites to play sessions straight in the app. So,
Sean, it's your turn.
I'm even worse.
Yeah. And then, like Sean mentioned, we're going to be adding some encryption and compression to the online protocol.
Plus, there's a bit of like multi-threading that happens there to make sure that like things arrive on time and in order and all that. So,
that should aid with some general hacking, prevention.
You're never going to get rid of all cheating, but it's the bare minimum.
It's a general deterrent for that, and should help just keep the consistency of online matches more solid.
Yep.
So.
Moha said, hearing you folks have such a smart AI kind of took me off guard. Seeing this kind of artwork with solid system behind it is encouraging.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, the AI... So I told this story at NACA during our panel a little bit, but I'll tell it again here. The AI has definitely evolved a lot over the years.
Been through a few different versions.
We've gone through a couple different versions. Like the very earliest one, I think we had kind of a basic state machine, but it was we didn't like the amount of work that we were putting into like maintaining that and trying to account for all these different situations, and it just didn't feel very natural.
The bird's gonna be a nasty.
And then
that was kind of.
After that, we designed a system that I called behavioral matrices or behavioral matrix. So the idea was that and again, this is probably going to get really technical and mathy, but you've got a graph, like 2-dimensional graph. You can have 3-dimensional graphs. The idea was like, let's say you had a multi-dimensional matrix.
Yeah.
Okay, where each axis on that is an aspect of the game, like the distance to your opponent, as a generalized distance, near, medium distance, far. General health of you or the opponent's health. So you take a couple key metrics, air, ground position, some other things we had in there. And for each node in that matrix, from those possible combinations, we will handpick a list of behaviors that would make sense strategically for the AI to consider doing in that situation.
Yeah.
And we will tune in a statistical rate that each behavior might be used in that scenario. And so the AI would basically say, when I want to do something, I'm going to feed all the current metrics for what the match situation is into the matrix, get the list of possible behaviors, and statistically determine a random behavior to do with that.
Yeah.
And it wasn't great. And ultimately, the catalyst for this...
adapt well enough.
What the catalyst for this... Yeah. Part of the catalyst for this was one of those years we were at NakaCon, and we had the game running at our booth, and we had the behavioral matrix method there. And there was a younger guy that played the game, and he's like, not to put you guys down, but the AI really sucks. He was just really flat about it. And I was like, that's an honest, I can't fault you for your honest opinion of this.
Those birds.
There we go.
Oh my
God.
Double KO.
Nice.
This is going to be a draw, so y'all are going to go to another round. So right now, double KOs are a draw.
Nice.
And yeah, this is going to go to a runoff round. We are working on an actual banner for double KOs for perfect matches. We just haven't incorporated those yet. But anyway, so this guy came up and kind of pulled me inside. And he's like, this kind of sucks. And obviously as a game creator or creator of any artistic medium, your gut reaction being told your thing is not very good is to get a little defensive. But I'm like, here's the thing. I want to know more about his perspective on this, because the only way we can get better is to get that opinion. So I kind of discussed with him. I'm like, okay, well, what were you trying to do? And what, what about it just seems kind of like it's not working for you?
That was a high five, not a in your face.
Not gonna push you over.
You got to do the fist bump.
Yeah.
Virtual fist
don't punch them, but
and so I talked to him, and he was kind of showing me he was spamming a lot of normals, and just the AI was just didn't know what to do with any of that. So after a little soul searching, it was we just fundamentally we need a better approach to this. We have to rethink the way that we're doing this and our strategy. And so that's when I kind of started going down the route of okay, well, when you look at other strategic systems like chess, if you're just implementing an AI for chess, how does it generally approach that? It forecasts so many moves ahead of what it could possibly do, and it determines what the best move is of its options that it can make based on so many ticks forward of the game.
Yep.
And so I'm like, all right, well, why don't we take that general idea and figure out a way to apply that here? So obviously we're not talking about moves.
Yeah.
We're talking about playing things out in time.
We're also not going millions of moves in the future.
Right, and we have a specific subset of behaviors that the AI can do. We know what that is. We don't need to hand tune a list of the available options or anything like that.
Because of the mechanics, we have a small buffer of the future inputs.
So this was around the same time that we were serializing the whole game state for network play. So we can basically snapshot everything in the game where it is and restore that. And so it became pretty clear. I'm like, we can do this with that same solution we're doing to facilitate network play. We can use it for the AI because we can snapshot the game state and have it play out.
Take your stupid
doing different behaviors that it could do in that situation and ranking them. Just scoring each one to see where it is, and then have a process for, based on the difficulty, picking which move it'll do. So now it's been through multiple iterations of like building that out, dialing it in, making it more efficient, changing the way we do it. But yeah, we got it working, and it works well.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
like
predicting hundreds of scenarios.
I mean, thousands of frames
Thousands,
per millisecond.
Yeah.
It's and a lot of that came from doing like our tuning. And yeah, I mean, I think it's something that makes KONSUI Fighter unique.
Yep.
I mean, now granted, I'm not an expert on every fighting game that's ever been released, but I kind of feel like this approach is maybe, I don't want to say it's like the first of its kind, but I don't know of many, if any, other systems that have really taken this approach to a fighting game AI. So yeah,
it can react pretty well to a lot of scenarios.
Yeah,
it's not perfect. No,
and we have more dialing in to do with it for sure.
Yeah. We'll tweak some of the numbers.
But yeah, I mean, after we got this like working and ironed out some stuff, even in the last several years, like improving it significantly, it became clear. It's like this has to be what we're rolling with for release, because it's spot on what we're looking for. And there's little touches we do with the AI too to make it feel a bit like a human opponent.
Oh my god!
Yep.
No, not the screen.
Yep.
Not the screen.
There are a few little touches we do with the AI too to make it feel like a human opponent is playing against you. For example, if you play a lot of fighting games, the move will just come out. Like the AI will just do the move. We actually have a lot of the behaviors play out the inputs you would need to trigger, like quickly, but play out the actual motion inputs that another player would use to do that. Now, that being said,
there are small cheats.
One of the things that we might be implementing to make the AI even more difficult on the high end and then scale it down, because that's our general approach. We try to get our highest end AI as aggressive and competent as possible, and then scale it down in difficulty. One of the things we might do is eliminating that for the highest tier, where it is just immediately triggering a move. But yeah, I mean, I'm really happy with how it's turned out. I think it's something very unique about the game that,
it's also nice because it's good for future stuff too. Like if we ever need to like tweak a move, we don't necessarily have to go in and.
So that's another positive to this system, is that it kind of naturally just adjusts with all the mechanical changes and balancing changes we make to the game.
Yeah.
We don't need to touch the AI. Like if we make a move stronger, we make a move slower, we tweak the way a mechanic works, the AI, it just folds that in, because it's just running a copy of the game to do these simulations and observing the results. So it is nice in that sense that there's very minimal work that we have to do as we're continuing to update the game to like balance the AI and dial things in.
Yeah.
So
like the main thing we're tweaking now is just like ratios of when it picks certain things.
Yep.
Or
shit.
Yeah. Trying to avoid like certain edge cases, like is it just sitting there punching too much, or does it detect that the other person's just standing there punching, and how to kind of get around those types of things.
Yeah, there are a few specific situations we try to navigate around, but overall, I'm really happy with.
Suppose you know what, I should probably slide that.
Oh sure, we got the chat going. So
some good matches. A lot of them are pretty close.
Does the AI ever taunt the opponent, if not literally? So, there are times that the AI will do a move it knows will not connect.
Yes.
And the reason it's doing that is generally for other properties of the move. Because the AI will gauge its gains in all categories. So, like, it might gain charge by doing that. It might avoid an attack by doing that move. The mobility of it moves them out of the way.
It might be doing random movements.
But generally, like, you'll see times where the AI is doing moves that don't connect.
Yeah.
And it's intentional. So one thing we haven't really talked about with the AI a whole lot in this conversation or recently is the cores. So there is a layer on the AI system that we call the AI cores. There are 8 or 10 different cores. There are things like Striker Core, Defensive Core,
Shane's face when he lost.
yeah, Berserker Core. They're basically like, what do I put my emphasis on tactically, right? And so when it's scoring the outcome of doing its moves based on its current core, it's weighing how much it cares about certain aspects of the score. Like if I'm being a defensive core, I'm going to put more weight into the distance between me and my opponent, into the damage avoided versus the damage caused. So every character has 3 different cores of the 10, I think we have in there, that they will move between during the course of the match.
Depending on different situations.
Based on different situations.
Yeah.
And that is something we have hand coded for each character, their AI, what cores they move between and what causes them to move between them. That is something we've tuned in a little more directly. But yeah, so that adds kind of a flavor to it. So yeah, there are times where like you might have a core that's prioritizing gaining charge for a while, and it might intentionally whiff attacks because it can quickly get
Dash in there.
whiff charge to do something else it wants to do, and then transition into something else. So, yeah. Earthbender versus Airbender. Yeah, exactly.
Kinda.
Yeah, Armored Core. Exactly. But yeah, and so that's a little bit more of like what we're probably going to be dialing in.
I was just trying to do it. He just punches me in the
Blah.
face and stuff.
Yep. I mean, you are taking the slowest character,
Yep.
but
He also hits hard though.
So
Yeah.
I'm curious for Mr. MKL.
mm-hmm.
This, ever since EA launched today,
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe he's played any of the other characters.
Oh, yeah, that's a good
true.
question.
So, I'll give you. I'll start looking for a match, but I'm really curious from your end. What are some of the new characters that you didn't get to try before?
Mhm.
How do you like them and all that?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see
Yeah.
what people think. And
Because we've showed this off at a lot of these characters off at previous conventions. But
Yeah.
you'd have to have been at one of those conventions to try them.
yeah,
And we still have those 2 mysterious ones in the center.
yeah. So that's another thing we can mention. I think about talking
Sure.
a little bit about what's
Assuming he's
coming.
typing, that's what I said.
Oh,
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah. Take your time.
So the character on the left in the center, Haku, he is built. We are probably going to run a weekend for people that don't mind some spoilers. Okay.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
We are probably going to run a weekend soon. We don't know an exact date yet, where we will temporarily unlock Haku for people in the experimental channel.
Yeah.
If you want to hop in and
Try it
test
out.
him out and, provide us some feedback and see what you think, we're planning that. We will probably do something similar with Con when Con is ready to be play tested. That will likely be later this year because we have a lot of work to do on Con.
Yeah.
But he is our last character build
Yep.
to go into the game. So
And he's kind of a crazy
he
one.
is a really weird boss style character.
Yeah.
I'm excited to get him together, but the process of us realizing the vision of what we
Mhm.
have for him is going to be quite a
Well, and even just
process.
making him as a playable character
Yeah.
is like a whole thing. So yeah. But yeah, once we get him done, like that's our last big set of content, other than like some story and music polish that we need to do at the end. What does he say?
So yeah, let's see. We have yeah, I'm going up the chain.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Mr. MKL said I've been able to play them on mobile. So
good.
has
Oh, that's
tried
right.
mobile. Yep. But he's a big fan of Atami in particular. But if you meant the 2 in the middle, I'm super curious. Yeah. Moha said, I like Granny. Bird Girl is sort of cool, but a lot of her super birds seem to whiff in combos.
Ah,
But I probably suck. But
She's a little funky.
Big Ghost Man is weird. His inputs make his combos strange to pull off. That was the goal. No. We may dial some of that in, but yeah, the Shinrao was kind of meant to be
Weird.
odd
Yeah.
to play as.
Almost like a Yoshimitsu or one of those.
Yeah, just like kind of. We wanted to make him feel different in the structure of his combo execution.
I don't. His combos. I
Yeah.
Yeah.
He does a lot of like popping.
But maybe we're succeeding a little too much at that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
we can tweak it.
Mr. MKL said Hitan is also super cool. Birds have so much potential. Mohas Chainsaw Man has some fun combos and seems pretty bonkers.
He covers a lot of the screen.
Yeah.
A lot of his.
Basil says, "I love these. You guys need to implement these names into the game. Chainsaw Man, Bird Girl, Big Ghost Man. Yeah,
Alternate names."
I love the vibe, just haven't clicked. Yeah. I'll say the charge back dash input is hella awkward. Yep. Yeah, we made that one kind of intentionally weird because it is just a big, sweeping, big threat move across the entire arena. It's almost like a sub super, but this will be interesting. But yeah, we'll see how things go during the early access period.
I'm curious to see if one of them goes invisible. I hadn't seen that in the last matches.
Oh yeah, don't stream snipe the invisibility if somebody gets their super.
That was funny at Naka where somebody like did the special and it's like, wait a second, she's invisible.
Traditional charge, argument improvements. Yeah. I mean, we'll dial it in. I'll be curious to see That's the great thing about early access is now we have we've got the experimental channel. So we expect to be doing a lot of rough prototyping and we're just going to throw it out there for whoever wants to test it out, give us some more feedback. And
there's, like you said, there's definitely some balancing stuff you want to go back and look at. Oh, they healed. Oh, just another thing to point out too with a lot of these matchups where it's the same character, we are going to tweak it later on.
The color, so the color
definite.
change across the characters is. Some of them it's harder to see.
Yeah, we're cheating a bit to do it now.
Right. All we're doing right now is just a standard hue shift.
Yeah.
And the only downside to that is depending on the character's overall palette, some of their colors can just get really nasty looking,
skin will go green,
or skin tones can start looking just really weird. So we're trying to keep it from looking too weird, but unfortunately that does mean for some characters their color shift isn't as dramatic. However, yes, we have. We are planning on implementing some.
Oh, there you go. Double invisibility.
Double invisibility. Oh god. We are planning on implementing actual proper alternate palettes.
Yeah.
With that, we may be offering. The ability to pick an alternate color palette that hasn't been selected and that kind of thing for each character. So
someday it'd be awesome if we could get alternate outfits, but that would be a lot of art assets we'd have to make.
Oh, come on.
I guess we'll talk to Jess.
Yeah. No, we're not gonna. Unfortunately, at this stage, we can't take an approach that would require additional assets.
Yeah.
It's just we got enough work to do.
Literally
cons completion and other stuff. No, but the other thing I was going to mention, we also have the mirror characters, which are a full inverted color palette.
Yeah.
You'll always face one at the end of your arcade stack. Not promising anything guaranteed, but we have had some conversations and I would like to experiment with the possibility at some point during the game's lifespan. This might be post-launch, but we might make those available for selection as a separate character option where they would have alternate builds. In their frame data. So maybe they'll be emphasizing some different aspects of the character or go.
Gear.
It's kind of a way for us to potentially potentially add more character options to the mix. So we'll see where that goes. That's probably down the road a ways, but just throwing out some of the concepts that we've been kicking around. And, you know, not like that would double our roster to 20 characters, but it would add some more variability that might be interesting to add to the mix without requiring Jas to spend another multiple years of additional character artwork. So
He's just one guy with a day job. So.
And again, the palette on those characters will be cleaned up a little bit to make them a little more.
Yeah, because just inverting doesn't always work. So.
Ooh. Persona Arena Suplex Edition. Yep. Low resources, more fun. Yeah, I mean that's something I think we've really tried to like. You know, we originally designed this again to fit on mobile, which is part of why like our planned frame counts were very conservative and nice. Yeah, and you know we put a lot of emphasis on our custom compression technology that we built into the engine.
Our own image format.
You'll notice if you install early access, it's about 200 megabytes because
at one point we had it like sub 60 because that was what Android wanted.
Yeah,
and it worked.
But we were missing a lot of content by that point too. So
and now that we have some more flexibility, like we've up-resed all the art assets.
Yes.
So.
Increase the
and
quality
still
standard
only, like,
a bit.
200 meg. So.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. If you were to take like all the assets of the game uncompressed, it would be several gigs. So the fact that we can get that down to 200 meg and still have it run efficiently is pretty legit.
Yep.
Damn it! It was like right there.
Yeah.
That was right there.
Right there.
All right. Well, I'm gonna let you.
All right.
We'll do like two more matches.
Two more matches. All right. I'll hop in and I'll let.
I will throw in the towel.
Yeah, we'll do a few more here.
You did good.
Is canceling teleport punch into the air intentional?
Into the air. I know you can cancel it. Once you've struck the opponent.
Okay. That would make sense.
It was intentional to do that because there is a combo option for that, followed up by the crystal toss. If you do it at the right point. I don't know if there's an option though to cancel out of it outside of that maybe we need to look at.
But... Yeah, if there is, I don't know if that's intentional. Yeah.
Because generally, in order to cancel a move, right, you got to make contact first.
Which he should if they're on the ground.
Right,
quickly,
right.
But yeah.
All right. And Mr. MKL's going Shinrao. You know what? I'll go Yuraku. We'll see how this goes. This should be an interesting matchup.
Okay, cool. I've also managed to do up into slide, but it's super tight.
Oh.
Yes, because you would need to be during just the initial portion where Shinrao is technically still in ground contact to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But yes. We could probably gloss that a little bit to make it a little more forgiving, but...
Yeah.
Just gonna... Don't mind me. Just gonna guard up a little bit over here.
I am... The biggest, I think the biggest.
Yep, there you go. Get rid of the screen.
Common thing that I know that we have always heard is that there's no crouching.
Right, but you know, honestly, actually, I don't know
like
about
this.
That.
This Naka was the first one that There's only one person I hear complain about it.
I don't know if I heard a single one. So
it was the kid that.
One of the ones that kept showing up?
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, he was there like every day for multiple hours.
And he was like, dude, you guys need to incorporate crouch. And I'm like, yeah, it's not going to.
Yeah. You know, honestly, like I don't really feel like it's lacking that much.
No.
Yes, it fundamentally means you know, we have a little bit of a different emphasis in how we do the back and forth, right? Like we're leaning more in toward mobility and reach and spacing and like emphasizing some of the different options
high, low
in that.
Necessarily, yeah.
Right. But
So
yeah, it is different. But at the same time, man, there's other series that have done it and done it well, and like I think it's part of what makes like it streamlines things a little bit for us. So it was a choice. It was a very strong choice to help with the mobile approach, but I think it's turned out quite well despite that.
Yeah, because honestly, there's a couple games that's kind of silly to like. You're gonna be in a fight and just crouching down, and oh, you can't hit me because I'm crouching. So, but then there are games that pull it off well. Like I always like how Dead or Alive did. They're like high, medium, low.
Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna curse you to death. No!
So close.
Yeah, I remember like adding this, like updating the sound effects for her hold to like add the actual like bleep in there occasionally.
Did you actually make Marissa swear?
No. So the way I did this,
that would have been fun.
I know. The thing is,
word.
like, we adjusted it a bit from when we had her do the voice work.
Yeah.
So, the way that I did it was that I took samples from some of her other attack moves and basically set it up to where, oh, come on. Nope. I'm talking too much. No.
Yep.
I'm making excuses.
Distracted. There we go. Nice. Using the heel.
Yeah. Hold on.
Yeah. They're both tricky characters.
Got me on that one. Nice.
Basil said, "Damn, these are some awesome matches."
Yep. Really fun.
Said that I don't think the high-low blocking is that important. To be fair,
Yeah.
There are a ton of games like that.
Yeah. It's become more common. Not that it doesn't. Like, I mean, I'm a big like classic, obviously Street Fighter and MK and but yeah, I mean, like, what I appreciate is that there's so much more diversity in the types of games and systems out there, and like,
there's always something said to like, I guess sticking within the general consensus that everybody has.
Good game.
Of those games, and then also trying to do something different. So there's bits that you should borrow, and then bits that you should try to do your own thing. So
thanks, Mr. MK. It's a lot of fun.
This is great.
So the Yuraku's voice thing. Sorry, let me finish my train of thought there. I took the first snippet of several attack like declarations she had and kind of made it sound like it was more of a yell by rounding the end of the sample a bit. So she's got a couple of those mixed in with the bleep that are all random. So you just kind of get a lot of like, it almost sounds like it's cutting off her saying something bad and then beeping it. Turn out like great, but
those are as many videos where they just add the bleep. Yeah, it's totally normal speech, but
So. But yeah,
I remember hearing a bunch of comments about like, wait, she's yelling at me and it's causing damage. It's like, mental damage.
Oh yeah. Emotional damage.
What is it? Because that's the thing that you always hear at conventions. Once you start hearing the beeping, I'm like, there's Yuraku swearing.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, that is there anything that we want to add on the what's next?
So, we cannot officially talk about the thing next month that is not Midwest, or in 2 months. Sorry, I'm forgetting the dates. But there is other stuff coming this summer that we'll have more information on when we can talk about it.
This summer.
Yep, for the game. We obviously have Midwest Fest and that tournament. We have the Naka stream coming up, so we'll be excited to kind of watch that along with the community and commentate on that. As far as the build, we're going to be discussing a little bit more about our next major build plans, but a lot of it, like we talked about, is going to be some enhancements to quality of life for online play, potentially some more mechanical adjustments here and there. And we'll have more to share in that vein, as well as potentially the playtest weekend for Haku. So stay tuned for that. And we'll definitely have more Konsui Fighter Live.
Yeah.
Where we'll showcase some of that and talk about it in more detail as we get closer to time. So
It'd be good if we could have some more streams. Things have been busy
Mhm.
recently, but
yeah,
maybe at
we've
some
been
point.
hitting some pretty major milestones.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
Well, the summer's also pretty busy.
Yep.
Yeah,
But it's
yeah.
good business.
Right. Yeah.
So,
no,
yeah.
no. But so on that note, we'll go ahead and close episode 39.
Yeah.
But thank you for everyone who's tuned in. If you have not already, you can find us on all of our social channels, as you see on the bottom. It goes through those. But we do also have a Discord, so that was one thing that was relatively new since the last. We announced it the last stream, but please join our Discord.
Yep.
It's growing pretty quickly. There's a lot of people who like fighting games, and just I try to just have it be a fun community, regardless of just chatting about games and all that.
Mhm.
So you can find our Discord in if you are watching. I mean, if you look, find us on either X or Twitter,
Mhm.
and there's links to that. If you're on our Steam page, please give
Down
us a wish
below.
list.
Yeah.
Look below. There's a big thing that says Konsui Fighter Discord. We'd love to have you join.
Yeah.
But on that note, thank you everybody for joining, and we will see you all in the next episode.
Yeah.
Take care.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.